Hey Truth Seekers, it's Nathanael here, and I'm going to be doing a deck profile for our Yana Love and Hope deck. Alright, so Yana has the ability, it says, every city revealed to you has a base defense reduced by 2 points. So she's going to be really good against battling against Cinis. She's going to make the 8 defense Cinis into 6 defense Cinis. She's going to make the Megas into 14 defense Cinis. And those 2 extra points do help go a long way. So for this build, I am running just 2 Love Power and 2 Hope Power. And then also running 2 of each prayer. So I'm actually running a very low amount of power cards. And I'm doing that for a specific reason. And that's because of room. I have a lot of ability to search for my Animo in this deck. And I'm going to be able to grab the cards that grab my power cards very quickly. So I do not see the need of running any more than just 6 powers. I could bump it up to 7 just for a more comfortable range. But I'm just going to keep it at 6 for now and see how that does. Alrighty. And moving right along, got our equipment. Have 1 pulse chains. The Animo that this card is attached to cannot be activated, but it may be discarded at any time during the setup phase. In exchange, you get the ability to, once per turn, as long as this card is attached to an Animo in your small group, you may search your deck for up to 2 level 1 Animo and place them into your small group. If there's no room in your small group, this card has no use. And then I run 1 Bell of Truth, which is when this card is attached to a love Animo, you instantly get to draw 2 cards. And then once per turn, as long as this card is attached to any Animo, you may peek at the top 4 cards of your deck and return them to the top of your deck in any order. Then we have gold. If the Animo this card is attached to has any hope cost that shuffles back into the deck, it may be converted to a regular hope cost instead. This is really only for Glimmer level 1 in this deck. I focus on a lot of Fellowship, and I don't want to see my power card shuffled back, so I'm not doing the Professor strategy. And we're going to see how this strategy stacks up against our Fellowship of Dinosaurs deck later on. So, all right, we got 2 fishing nets, and I have 2 the Rich Fool. Fishing net says draw 2 cards. If this card was the last card in your hand, draw 4 cards instead. The Rich Fool says draw the bottom 3 cards of your deck. This is so that way I can keep up my hand size and draw a lot more cards. I run 2 Runaways and 2 Shake and Breaks. Being a Fellowship-based deck, I want to have the ability of grabbing Animo from my discard pile because a lot of them are like level 1s and I can just play them and just go for it. And the Runaway is very helpful in grabbing back my Ultra, and my Ultra is my main way of searching out Animo. So Shake and Break says return 2 level 1 Animo from your discard pile to your hand, and the Runaway says select any Animo from your discard pile and return it to your hand. Alrighty. Moving on to Cinis. Hookworm. Hookworm says as long as the Cini is active, all your opponent's Animo require 1 extra universal cost in order to be activated. Judge Wee says as long as the Cini is active, your opponent may not reveal Cinis. Anxietor. Your opponent may not play any story cards, equipment cards on their next turn. Hypocritter. As long as Cini remains active, the actions of your opponent's virtuous Animos have no effect. Zapper King. Your opponent may not play any level 1 Animo from their hand into their small group next turn. Wolf. Being a 10 defense Cini and having an ability that's useless while he's actually being defense makes this defense really good. But his ability says, if this card's in your hand, you may show it to your opponent and shuffle it back in your deck, and if you do, draw another card. We oftentimes run into having multiple Cinis in our hand, and if we have like 2 Cinis in our hand, we'll shuffle this one back and play the other one. Detestable. Your opponent must discard one of their equipment cards that are in play. This is specifically for Pulse Chains. Pulse Chains should be a primary strategy for players to grab what they need. And Pulse Chains being an equipment card, it means it's vulnerable to Detestable. And then we got Walrus Mega. 16 defense Cinis. Big guy. Weakness is Hopper. Next we got our Hope Animo. So we're going to start off with 3 Aurora. Aurora says, If this animal is in your small group, it provides 1 hope power during your score phase, and this card may not be activated in the same turn this ability was used. He functions as a power card, so when I don't have power cards, I get to use Aurora. And then I'm going to primarily focus on fellowship bonuses. So I got Squibble. Yes, the Squibble. All right, so Squibble says is basically a 2 cost for 4, or ends up being a 2 for 7 if you activate a love Animo in the same turn you activate Squibble. Squibble's also the weakness of, it's not Scorch, it's not the Pendaroo. Who was the other Mega? Well, I'm drawing a blank right now. Almost had Zapper King. Yes, he is the weakness to Zapper King Mega. That's it. All right. Next up, we got 3 Glimmer level 1s, which is a 4 for 2. And you shuffle one of those back, or it becomes a 2 for 6. So that way, he's really good. This is the card that I want to equip the gold to, because it's the only one that actually shuffles my power cards back. And since I'm running Glimmer level 1, I'm going to be running Glimmer level 2. I went full investment on this Glimmer level 2. This is a 2 for 7, which is fair value, but has an ability that says once cards played from your hand to grow Glimmer level 1, you may draw 2 cards. So I'm drawing a lot of cards. It is a 2 for 10 if I have the Love Fellowship bonus. Next up we have is Quillow. Quillow level 1. It is very meek. It is a 3 for 1. It's not great value, but it does grow into Quillow level 2. And Quillow level 2 has the action that says search your deck for either 1 special power card or 2 standard power cards and add them to your power pool. Shuffle your deck afterwards. Being a 1 cost and already having my love power in play with my Truth Seeker, this basically means that I'm going to be able to instantly grab whatever power cards I need once I grow Quillow. I'm going to be using my Ultra to grab these, so that way I can set up faster. Really good. Next up we got Fondly level 1 and Ragdoline level 1. So Ragdoline is 2 love for 4 or a 2 for 8 with the hope, and Fondly is a 2 for 5 or a 2 for 8. Just take a moment to note that technically Fondly is just better in 2 categories over Ragdoline. And that's because number 1, it has a 5, so it's 1 more virtue point. But number 2, it's like a non-specified. So you can use a love and a hope where this one's strictly love. However, I chose to just do a 2 and 2 split because I wanted to be thematic, and I'm not a big fan of just doing one of in a deck like this. So, and then we got 2 Fairly level 1. Fairly, kind of in the same boat as, it's like the in-between between Ragdoline and Fondly. So Fairly is a 2 for 4 or becomes a 2 for 8, but it's better because you can also activate in the same turn you activate a love Animo, not just a hope Animo, because it gets its fellowship bonus as long as it's activated in the same turn as any kind of animal. All right, getting towards the bread and butter of our deck, Treshell. Treshell level 1's a 1 for 2, not that great. Treshell level 2 is a 2 for 6, which is okay value for a level 2 that grows. And then we have Treshell level 3. Treshell level 3 is a 2 for 12, which is amazing value. Plus, it has 2 other things going for it, other than its virtue point to cost ratio. Is it has the ability that if this card's in your small group, it provides 2 love powers during your scoring phase. This card may not be activated in the same turn this ability is used. So it has a similar ability to like Aurora, but it provides 2 instead of 1. And then, in addition, it also has the Hope Fellowship bonus for 15. So it's really strong. And we're going to see how this does compared to the Fellowship of Dinosaur strategy later on. And then I went full investment for my Flow Ultra because although it's a 2 for 9, its ability is really good in a Fellowship-based deck. Because it lets you just grab 3 you can place it in your small group, discard it, And then you just get to search your deck for any 3 Animo, reveal them, and place them in your hand. And shuffle your deck afterwards. Flow Ultra is extremely viable in just getting everything that I need. I'm drawing quite a bit of cards, so that way I'm seeing Flow. I'm using Flow to grab the cards that I need, like my Quillows. I'm using Runaway to grab back my Flow so I can play my Flow, sacrifice it again, so that way I can... Man, I'm sacrificing the sheep. This is like Turblue, but worse. Or technically better. So I just keep re-sacrificing the same sheep over and over and over again to grab all the Fellowship cards that I need. I think this is the card that's going to put this strategy over the edge compared to the Fellowship with Dinosaurs. But Fellowship with Dinosaurs does have Sadie, which allows them to get their cards. This card just lets me grab 3 in one turn, where Sadie only allows you to grab 1 level 1. So, anyways, I'm going to go ahead and bring this to a conclusion. This has been our Yana deck that focuses around love and hope. So in the meantime, Truth Seekers, keep learning virtues and defeating sinies.